Hello, in this video I'll be showing you how to answer the NSAA 2016 Section 1 Question 44. The graph shows results of experiment W and Z involving catalytic decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. Assume all other conditions are kept constant. Which of the following would lead to the results shown? So let's take each option by turn. So for option A, in experiment W, we have 100 centimeter cubed or 1 mole per decimeter cubed of hydrogen peroxide. And in experiment Z, we have 50 centimeter cubed of 2 mole per decimeter cubed of hydrogen peroxide. So let's work out the number of moles of hydrogen peroxide to find out how many moles of O2 is produced. So the moles of hydrogen peroxide in W, so we know the moles is the volume times the concentration. So we have 1 times 100 over 1,000, as we need to convert the centimeter cubed to decimeter cubed, and this gives 0.1 mole. So the number of moles of hydrogen peroxide in experiment Z, we'll have 2 times 50 over 1,000, which will also give you 0.1 mole. So we have the same number of moles of hydrogen peroxide in each experiment, which implies that the same number of moles of O2 will be produced, which also implies that there will be the same volume of oxygen. Well, you can see from the graph, experiment Z has half the amount of oxygen produced compared to experiment W. Therefore, this option is incorrect. So looking at option B, in experiment W, we have the catalyst in lumps, and in experiment Z, the catalyst is finely divided. We know that the catalyst doesn't affect the yield, it only speeds up the rate of reaction, which we can clearly see from the graph, as in Z, there's a steeper curve, which is a faster rate. However, the same volume of oxygen will be produced, which is not the case here, as in experiment W, you have double the amount of O2 produced. So option B is also wrong. Option C, in experiment W, we have the reactions carried out at 25 degrees. And in experiment Z, we have the reactions carried out at 50 degrees. Well, we know that increasing the temperature increases the rate, which we can see that in experiment Z, it has a faster rate than experiment W. However, we would still expect the volume of O2 produced to be the same, which is clearly not the case here. So option C is also incorrect. Option D, in experiment W, we have 2 grams of manganese 4 oxide used, and in experiment Z, we have 1 gram of manganese 4 oxide used. In manganese 4 oxide is a catalyst for the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide, so it only speeds up the rate. So you still expect the same volume of oxygen produced, because you still have the same number of hydrogen peroxide in each experiment. Well, we can see that this is not the case, so option D is also incorrect. Finally, in option E, in experiment W, we have 100 centimeter cubed of 1 mole per decimeter cubed of hydrogen peroxide. In experiment Z, we have 25 centimeter cubed of 2 mole per decimeter cubed of hydrogen peroxide. So this will be similar to A, where we find out the moles of hydrogen peroxide to see how much O2 is produced. So for experiment W, moles of hydrogen peroxide will be 1 times 100 over 1,000 equals 0.1 mole. For experiment Z, you have 2 times 25 over 1,000, which equals 0.05 mole. So we can see here that there's double the amount of moles of hydrogen peroxide in experiment W, which implies that there's twice the moles of oxygen produced in experiment W. Therefore, there's double the volume of oxygen in experiment W, which we can see from the graph. Therefore, it's option E that is correct.